Oh my goodness, it is that time again, and we do not need the third shot of me sat on the side. It's that time again. It's that time to get your blood pumping. It's time to get your blood pumping because why? We have a man in the house that not only makes the women hot when he walks past, but now the men are chasing him too. So we got a double problem with this guy. He's taking up all the dates. But in
I'm a double
seriousness,
threat. Triple threat. No, triple threat. Triple threat. RS.
so I'm with the man, my co-host, Mr. Co-host to you, Danny Roscoe.
What's
Hey,
up?
Denver.
What's up? What's up? What's going on?
You've
We all
been
good.
a busy boy.
I have been a busy boy, and the first thing I know, I just seen a thing of saying get into 1,000 on the YouTube. I've got past it now. I've got the
Oh, you
1,000.
have?
I've got past it. Yeah,
Yes,
I did it. I
yes.
just checked
It'll
now.
only take
So
a few days. It'll only take a few days before that live comes on,
yeah,
and then
good, good.
bang, you're away.
Then it's good to go.
Yeah.
All you people better be careful. Summer's gonna be hot, and I don't mean about the sun.
That's brilliant, brilliant news. That's brilliant news. I wasn't sure where you were with that. So okay. So on the, I don't know. I think you said okay. We're bringing the boys in about. I think it's about quarter past.
About quarter past, we've got the
Yeah.
Voice of Wales to join us. To join us, obviously, I went down Swansea, and they were the exclusive film guys. Well, the official streams. So they're going to come up and join us and chat about the experience too.
Yeah. And what I do want to say before we do get into that conversation is these guys have. I mean, I don't think there's anybody in the room that doesn't know about them, and they have lost their channels. Which anybody who's put that much work in knows that really, really sucks. I don't know what their plans are with another channel or whatever. If they are doing one, then we'll try and get out there today. But these guys need to be back and on their feet as soon as possible because this whole cancel culture thing. Just before we get onto the main topic, this whole cancel culture thing for me, the only way to battle at the moment is like if somebody gets banned off someone's channel, then having them on every channel, have them on
Yeah,
every single
definitely.
channel. You know?
Definitely. It's not the end for the Voice of Wales. We've got a lot of things that they can be doing, and they've been. Oh, we'll talk about it when they're here. It's better hearing it from
Yeah,
them. But they've
yeah,
they,
yeah.
they've been attacked. They had 5,000 subscribers, and they got attacked by the national media. And I'm on about the BBC.
Oh,
I'm on about the BBC,
right.
not small, not locals. The BBC. Um,
Wow.
so they've been attacked, and now they've had a final attack, which what they think, but I'm sure the boys have got something
Wow.
up their sleeves.
Wow. Okay,
I
that's
know.
interesting. Well, I mean, I've got something. I can't sit on stream yet, but I've got something. Two things already I'm working on coming up that may give all of us um a safe haven without needing for me to have some big platform because obviously I'm not a big guy who can have a big platform, but there are
Yeah,
other ways. There always have been, and so I'm working on something now. But to give too much away now is to put my head in the it's stupid,
yeah.
but I am working on something. It starts off actually quite simply with just launching. Oh, sorry, this camera keeps going really off. It's just
See, my
launching.
camera's going off as well. I look like my whole head doesn't look straight. I'm sitting dead straight,
Yeah,
and I'm
I
at
don't
an
know what to
angle.
do here.
I
Because
have no
I
idea
think it's
what's
trying
going
to
on.
track something, but I don't know what it's. I think it's trying to track the fucking wall, not me. Right.
Oh yeah, you're high
Yeah,
tech. I've
so,
just got, I've just got a little. Yeah, you're high tech. You got one of them ones that move and stuff, man. That's good.
yeah,
You're
I'm
still
trying.
doing it. You're still doing it from your bedroom. Come on, Tom. We said we need studio times.
Well, look. This is look. If you look, oh, I can't. Which way is it? This is a high tech fucking futuristic bedroom.
Futuristic bedroom, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's something cool. But you still,
Yeah,
but the alarm clock looks like it's stuck in the 80s.
that's true. But that's because I've got a retro thing going on. But actually, fact, I'm broadcasting this from the future. So just so you know,
I was talking
just
about
so
that
you
today,
know. So
actually.
so when you went down and you did this thing. I mean, I saw you. I always remember thinking the time when I saw you do the Hearts Vote speech. I would love to have thought if I could have thought and gone back. I'd love to have been down the bottom where people going on and off stage because that's when people are at the most nervous, getting ready, you know. I'd love to have caught you on that day on that stage
I was
when you
sick
came
as a
off
dog.
and just before you went on, because I could see it. I was watching you. I could see it. I could see you. But at the same time, you knew that you were going to get bricked one way or the other. It was either going to be with what you had in your hand or without. But it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Um, and but nevertheless, like it's a real thing. It's on you. So there you are. You go to this thing, and you we know you to be a man of your word, so you're going to go and stick to your word. But nevertheless, that doesn't mean things are going to go smooth. So you've put yourself out there. You've said you're going to do this. You go there, and then you got to execute it as well. That's a
Mm.
bit of pressure. That's a bit of
Yeah,
pressure.
it's
Just
loads of
right there.
pressure. The Hearts of Oak thing was crazy as well. That was just too. I didn't like it, but I liked it halfway through. Everyone knows if anyone's seen a Hearts of Oak speech, they know exactly when I liked it and when I
Yes,
didn't. Right?
yes,
There's a definite
absolutely.
a line down the middle. So when I got to liking it, it was fine. But this one, it wasn't even going to be a big demo at Swansea. All I said at the beginning of the year is I'm going to counter every single Black Lives Matter protest I physically can, because I'm not going to allow them to run away with the narrative. And when we
Right,
got there,
right.
so it was never about a big demo or anything. It was just about standing there and making sure that they know my face, right? So they see me, and I'm not going to take it. So when we
Yeah,
got there was a whole everyone there was um, everyone there was a white socialist, right? So I was
yeah.
just like, what's going on there? Oh yeah, yeah. I'm
I'm just
pointing
playing
everyone
this
out.
while we're talking. Sorry. Carry on.
Yeah, no, and that's what I pointed out. Everyone there was a white socialist, and when they realised who that I wasn't some kind of bot for the flyer, and I was me. Then you
Yeah,
started seeing them filling in more blacks. It was like they had a mobile phone and a bus behind them, because they just kept filling in from nowhere. All in the centre as well. I've got a picture where you can see they're all in front of me, and there's white people either side.
right,
That's
right.
no unity. Black Lives Matter. There's no unity. They just did it so they could take a picture to show
Yeah,
me against all of them, which is fine. Which is fine. But this, it was only just about showing up and not allowing them to do the narratives. But obviously, as we get out of lockdown, we're going to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
absolutely. And I mean, you unlocked. So just an example of the things that you unlock. Me and you have talked about this in personal conversations about how far someone like me can go currently in attacking organisations like this. Um, the one thing but it does allow me to do though, and it has a term allowed me to do is turn my ire, or ire, is that the right word, back on to the white liberals that also helped make this possible. And so you've opened that door back up again. I
Yeah,
haven't just got, and it's the ability to get, because again, I've still got the images in my head of the statues being torn down in some places by mostly white people, you
yeah.
know. And I can't kind of forget those images so well. So was there anything you'd say okay, so to start off, was there anything you'd say was completely unexpected about the day?
Uh,
You put a lot of thought into it, so you probably knew what to expect. Was there anything about the day that was unexpected?
um, what was what was unexpected? Um, what was unexpected was the police. That's what was unexpected, because at the beginning of the day, we was um, we was accosted. We were told we was going to get COVID fines, and
Wow, what, the full 10 grand
yeah,
stuff?
basically what they did is they took down from the Voice of Wales. No, I don't know how much it was. Um, down from the Voice of Wales, and they said they've seen us break COVID rules. It was like, we haven't,
Right.
but there was a live stream from outside somebody's house, so they've said we're inside a house, but it's
Ah,
quite clear we were outside the house and we haven't been in the house. We're not stupid. Um, so then the lads then told him they've got authorization from the Welsh government. They showed him the authorization, and these police officers kind of scarpered like the rats they were. So
right.
we
Interesting.
knew that he was telling old people that were waiting for us you're going to get, as soon as Black Lives Matter come here, you're getting a fine, you're getting a fine, you're getting a fine. So we're like, we know where this is going.
Sorry, can you just rebut? Did you just say telling old people?
Yeah, there's a few elderly people at the top who support the Voice of Wales.
Ah,
And they're there sitting on the benches, you know, in the mobility scooters and whatnot. And the police said, if when Black Lives Matter come here, if you're still here, you're all going to get a fine. But then, what happened was we started speaking, we started doing that thing, and the police allowed it to happen.
right.
So I don't know if they're listening to the words. Tom,
Yeah.
are the lads in the back? Are the lads in the back room?
No.
Oh, because they're saying the links. There's an error in the link. Can you resend it to me, please, bud?
Yeah, I can. 1 second. Let me just think the best way to do it. Oh yeah, okay, I know.
So yeah, so as soon as they were talking about this guy getting murdered, this Mohammed, some guy, and I just said, look, it's not murder. There's no concrete evidence that a murder took place. And then I explained to him about how they want to defund the police. So can you tell all the police officers here that you want to take their jobs? And I think that kind of thing was.
You think that
I think
actually
it
got
worked.
listened to
I think
this
they're
time?
listening. I think they were listening. There wasn't many of us, but I think they were listening to what was said. And obviously, I've said this time and time again. You can't go up against Black Lives Matter as a white person. I don't care who. I don't care who it is. You can't do it.
It's
But when I'm
perception.
there and I'm standing face to face to them and I'm telling them, I'm saying no. My life doesn't matter to you because I'm not on your side. You know, if you want true diversity, you've got to accept that there are black people on the right, but they don't. They try and intimidate them and try and chuck them out and whatnot. So
Very much along the lines of the way that the liberals work, and that they're really liberal, unless it's somebody with an old-fashioned point of view, and in which case they've got no tolerance for that person whatsoever.
exactly, you know, and that's what it is. So they can't go and say, you know, we all supporting Black Lives Matter when it's not the whole of Black Lives. And that's what we were saying. Basically, they were saying that the old all lives can't matter until Black Lives Matter.
Yeah,
And
I've been. Yeah,
I'm saying, hang on a minute, no, you're getting it twisted, okay? Because and I said it to the crowd, if we all jump on under All Lives Matter and we forget Black Lives Matter because we're all together, that means I support you. So if you lot want to come over with the Patriots, right? You come over here, you will not get harmed, you will not get anything happen. We will accept you with open arms, and you know you've made a mistake. That's fine. Come over to us. And then that's when we can start sorting the problems out because we're all together. It's us against the problem. At the moment, it's black people against certain problems, but then it's not all black people because some don't even support the problems. Some support the movement, but not the problems. Some don't want to defund the police. Some want to increase a nuclear family. They want to increase it. They want to make sure there's a father and a mother. So it doesn't work.
You said to me before, and not again, not to make the one criticism that I will take on board, just because I think it's true maybe more of Americans, you know, black people being a monolith. But you said that there is a much larger trend for black people to be more right wing.
There's a huge trend going on over in America, right? And whatever happens in America happens here, right? It's black conservatism, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And it's starting to happen here. I've got probably 100 people that are still watching me, right? And they're still saying, yeah, well, I'll come to it. I'll come to the next demo. I promise you. I'll come to the next demo. But they're watching to see what happens to me, what my reactions is, and if I still stay along, you know. But this movement of black people standing up, you can see it now in the media. But I say it on my Twitter account. You're using the wrong type of black. You're using the black person who is sympathetic to a Black Lives Matter, who is sympathetic to a lot of the stuff. Me, I don't want it. I don't want it at all. I don't want a lot of things, and I'm a proud conservative.
This is the thing with you, Danny. Is like we've spoke about you going on to mainstream radio shows and stuff like that. They don't want you. You are the wrong type of black. You are not a victim. I mean, I remember Douglas Murray said this about he was due for a scheduled slot on Sky News, but his dancing partner, if you like, would have been Owen Jones.
Yeah.
and Owen Jones declined. And he said, well, the reason he declined, he said, it wasn't necessarily a hatred for me. He said it's because Owen Jones is gay. And he said, and so am I, but I'm the wrong type of gay. And it ruins the narrative because he can't get away with doing the I'm gay card.
Yeah.
You don't understand what it's like to be gay. Because he's like, well, actually, yes, I do. I'm still conservative, and I think it takes
This
it
is
out
the
of
thing.
their hands.
Yeah, exactly. This is the thing. They just want it all to be one way. They want to control the media narrative as well. And I'm not going to allow that. Right. This is 2021. We've been here through the global bastard, right? And we've given away all the rights. Yeah. I'm not giving away my only right that I can keep, and that's my integrity. I'm never going to give that away.
We've got the boys on. Sorry, I didn't realise that. Are you ready to bring them in?
Yeah, bring them in.
Right, welcome to Zero News, the voice of Wales. How you doing, boys?
Evening, lads. How are you?
Evening,
How
Danny.
you doing? How you doing? You've had a busy day today, haven't you?
Oh, it's been. Do you know, just after the busiest weekend we've ever had, I thought it couldn't get busier, and then we've had the busiest day we've ever had. But we're still smiling. We're still
that's
going.
what I was going to say. You're still
good.
smiling. So.
Yeah.
Really sorry to hear about your everything, mate. To be honest, the channel and stuff. Jesus.
Yeah, it's we're taking it more as a compliment. We must be really close to something really bad. So all that's showing to us is we're not in it this sort of thing to try and get as many subscribers as possible. We're in this sort of thing to spread awareness as much as possible. So channels and subscribers, whatever, we don't care. We've got a new YouTube channel. We'll start building that.
I was going to say, we'll let people out. We'll let people know what that is before we finish up today.
Excellent.
Yeah, just first, introduce us, because there's people on here that's not going to know about you and what you're doing. Just do a full introduction to yourselves, the old Voice of Wales as well, because that's important. Because a lot of people they tune into you from England because they like your style and they like the Voice of Wales, how it presents itself.
Yeah, it's true, and we're crossing sort of different audiences as well here. It's a bit of a crossroads, so that would yeah,
excellent.
I think our style is adaptable to throughout Britain, actually, Northern Ireland, Scotland, England, and what we try and do is cover the news that mainstream media will not touch, or if they're touching it, they're lying about it. And unfortunately, what we've done is we've prodded the bear too often, and we've got too close to the truth. And the BBC didn't like that.
No.
And then on top of that, when we had PC Sergeant Fumble with his COVID book and his little book of regulations, and he kept dropping them on the floor, and Danny had the Harry Potter cloak of invisibility on him, because he stood there, he was going, hello, hello, and then he rolled a cigarette that looked like a spliff, and they still didn't speak to him, and he's going, hello, and they said, oh, we haven't picked on you, you just happened to be walking up the street. I think
look, Danny knows how to use black privilege well. Look, you've got
that's it. It's all about your black privilege, man. You guys don't know about it, but
well, it's funny because me and Stan met through Brexit, and it was just street campaigning, and we were always just activists on the street. We were going to demos, we were organising demos, getting speakers in, just trying to gather Leave voters of South Wales, because the Welsh Assembly government, it doesn't represent the people of Wales,
and that's where we saw the lies. Because I was absolutely certain where I lived that we were going to win, and yet the BBC, Welsh News, Wales Online, all the YouGov polls, every single poll was saying, "Oh no, everybody's going to vote to remain," and the Welsh Labour government spent millions on putting up new European signs with the stars and one thing and another. But the point is that we kept getting people coming past us, quite putting the thumbs up and saying, "You're all right here." And that's where we detected the lies. They don't when the establishment come out in overdrive, and it was there that me and Danny, I mean, when we stood at the bottom of a street on a busy road, and every single car was tooting the horns, pipping, thumbs up, and obviously you got the odd one or two who kept saying, "Are the two of you?" But that helped us cheer us on as well, didn't it?
Yeah, definitely. But it was, we started then after Brexit was done. We were looking to cover local news. There was so much. Swansea Council is full. They may be called the Swansea Comrade Council because it's so left wing. But then Black Lives Matter hit, and Black Lives Matter for Swansea straight away. Swansea Council is run by Stand Up to Racism. Straight away, they're like, right, okay, let's audit everything. Let's take down signs, change statues. We started making a bit of a noise about that. We had the nerve to let the public know that the council was planning this.
How dare you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And Wales Online then, the council called us vile racist bigots for daring to challenge this. We give the details to Wales Online, who rather than saying the council shouldn't be calling the public this in a public forum, they turned it into council brands group vile racist bigots. So then we were like, right, that's enough. I've had enough of this. And we started, there had to be an alternative for Wales. So that's where the Voice of Wales came from.
Yeah, and just before that, they also had the temerity to bring down the Jeremy Corbyn, and we won a little major battle because he was going to do one of his chats from the rooftop.
Yeah,
but he deemed that 15 of us were too dangerous.
Too much of a risk.
Too much of a risk for him to come out on the balcony.
Brennan's really probably fallen off anyway. So if you, I mean, I think Danny said you were around about 5,000 when all this happened. Is that about right?
Yeah, 5,000 before the hit piece.
Okay, so it's not like a massive channel, but it's a decent enough thing to get a word out.
Yeah, but
for a channel of 5,000 to have stung people like the BBC in the house and that much, that's a victory, man. That is victory because that is a reaction. That's a serious reaction.
You know what the victory is after that, Tom? You know what the victory after that? After they did the hit piece in 24 hours, how many extra subs did you get, lads?
We doubled. We had an extra 5,000.
Excellent.
They got an extra 5,000 subs in 24 hours.
And the amount of comments,
no more.
Yeah.
So okay. So from you guys' point of view, this is for all of you. So on the day all this happened, obviously, having obviously filmed demos and that, so I know that you're catching like 2% on camera, really, in terms of there's all this stuff going on around you. Not necessarily always entertaining, but there's always stuff going on. So from your guys' point of view, how would you describe what perhaps you didn't see on camera the day, just things in general?
Well, it's funny, and I will take the lead on this one, Stan, if you don't mind, only because I've spent the last 3 days in my, I'll call it a studio, when really it's a shed, a concrete shed, so it is warm, editing the software. So I've been watching it all 3-4 times over. It's currently converting, and it's on a 2-day time period, apparently, until it's converted. So we got a lot of footage. I think the main thing that couldn't be captured on camera, no matter how many cameras there were, was how the police, the 2-tier policing, and how everybody on the All Lives Matter side, everybody was questioned. And Danny mentioned the elderly people. It was elderly people sitting on a bench. It was an elderly lady disabled in an electric wheelchair being told if you don't move in 20 minutes. There was even people.
Can I just go back? Can I just go back to the beginning bit as well? Sorry, guys. Because what happened was Stan said about the invisibility cloak, right? So when they come up to these two, up to Dan, and said, "Look, you've broken COVID." He said, "You three have been doing a live stream from inside the house. It was clearly outside." Okay, so that's wrong. 3. They only spoke to Dan and Stan, right? So when when the police went off, I was standing there. So it's 3. So it's 2 white people and me. The police went off. They didn't even want to speak to me. So that's the invisibility cloak. I've got my roll-up cigarette, smoking it like it's Mary Jane. Okay, they don't want to speak to me, and no, this is a serious point as well.
I'm sorry,
right?
it's just the way you said it.
Because if these two lads get a COVID fine, right, where would mine be? Because we're all together.
Mate, yeah. I hear you.
And this is the hypocrisy.
It shows you how we got to the point of rape gangs getting unreported and stuff like this, because this is how it started.
I can do what I can literally, and that's what I said to the lads. I said, look, I can literally say what I like. I can do what I like. I said it to you as well, Tom. You know, I don't have to be restricted by whatever I say, right? What the lads say, I say just as much, right? On when they're getting strikes, I haven't got a strike. I say just as much. But why? It's because I'm being allowed to do it, and I don't think I'm British, yeah, and I don't think I should be held accountable like any other British person. I should be held accountable, but I'm not.
I agree. So how would you? I mean, and again, a question for any of you, all of you. So as I said, so the things you're not catching on the camera, perhaps the way things start off, but also as well, you said something about all the people on the All Lives Matter thing getting questioned.
Yeah.
So how does that make you feel that something like All Lives Matter is considered to be the dodgy statement out of the two? How does that make you guys feel? Because I can't get me around it.
We always try to take the positive. As negative as something's going to be, we'll try and take the positive. And the positive of that is that the police are actually standing there, hassling someone, standing under a banner of All Lives Matter. So all they've done is expose themselves. All day, all they did is expose themselves. So whereas there may be some people who are happy with that sort of policing because it suits the narrative and it suits how they feel, there's a bigger amount of people who definitely feel the way the people on the All Lives Matter felt. Now, the only other thing with that is the people who they're defending literally want their jobs. The people who would have defended the police were the people that the police were targeting. So the police are, they're defending the people who want their jobs, and they're attacking the people who would defend them. But that's not going to happen anymore.
See, the point is, Tom, that they have painted me and Danny in a particular way. And to have Danny and others who are obviously not Caucasian on our chat and on our channel and seen in the streets gives them, because we were also there for Black and White Unite.
Yeah.
And they don't want that. They want to call us white supremacists, racist bigots. Yeah. And that's
you're destroying the narrative when you go that way.
Absolutely right. And further to that, I do not believe that Danny Roscoe wants to blame events that happened 300 years ago on why he is oppressed now. I
know he's racist because he's just racist.
That's it. Everyone knows I'm a racist. Everyone knows I'm just racist because I hate white people.
Sorry.
He like the Hodge twins, you see, get off their asses, work hard, get the money in, and build families from a working environment and raise families from a working environment. Yeah. They are not part of this. 300 years ago, we were enslaved. And the shite that was coming out from Black Lives Matter, he made 3 comments. He wouldn't answer them, and he wouldn't go off on the side to be interviewed, either with Danny or myself. And the 3 questions were, he said that everybody here is alive when segregation was in this country. We've never had segregation in this country.
I was going to say.
Yeah, but I did have to correct him, because we have actually currently got segregation in Sainsbury's and Argos in their staff rooms, because there is a black area where you can reflect on the days of slavery.
In fact, Danny and Tom, during the war.
Oh God, here we go.
During World War II, when we were building up troop reserves in Devon, the United States Army came over and they had a black regiment, and they weren't allowed in the pubs in the local area. And it was the locals, the whites, that objected to this offence. And they were made mixed bars. And so long before we got any BAME people in number, we were defending their rights. And this is why I object to the word racism, because the only people that have brought racism into this world are the left.
Yeah.
And they are trying
they won't let it die. They're resurrecting it that yearly. They won't let it die, will they?
Do you know why they want it? Because
Danny, I meant to tell you, Danny, you know what month it is in America now, don't you?
Yeah, it's Black History Month.
Yay!
Let's all. They don't get the Black History Month like us. They get I don't even know what it is, but I'm pretty damn sure it's not every single year learning about Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, because that's all it seems to be in the UK. It's bullshit, man. I've forgotten what I was going to say now as well.
In the words of Martin Luther King, the voice of Wales will overcome.
Definitely. And we also with Martin Luther King,
improvise and overcome. Thank you, Dr. King.
And I do take some quotes from Martin Luther King, because he said he wants little brown children and little white children to play together. So that's ultimately black and white unite.
Well,
so it's coming around in a circle. We're coming around in full circle, because I've been saying for a long time that we are in a civil rights crisis now. Our liberties and our rights as normal. Don't think about black and white. It's just as a people in Britain, our civil rights are under attack. So this is our civil rights campaign.
But Danny, they're actually going against what Dr. Martin Luther King preached. One of his last speeches was I don't want somebody to get a job because of the color of their skin, but the ability of the person. And what's happened a couple of weeks ago, the BBC and I think some lefty newspaper showed a picture of the English football team and said it's too white.
The women's team.
Days about telling people not to be so white, not to act so white or something.
It's Coca-Cola.
That's Coca-Cola.
That's it.
I'm thinking about doing some training, getting some training myself, and to sell it off to these companies, because at the end of the day, they'll buy anything. Like they've got the unconscious bias training, and now how to be a little less white training, and next it's just going to be like
a little less white.
You know what I mean? They'll literally buy anything. So I'm going to be like, when you get attacked by a black, and like have like an action fucking trainings thing going on. It is ridiculous. It is an assault as well. And you know what, right? I've said this before as well. People were saying about an increase of, an increase of this type of divide, but it's only literally coming from the government. When the government is facilitating people like Anne Boleyn being black, right? That's erasing our history. I literally can't have a debate with anyone when they bring that up. I'll have to walk away, because I can't debate. I have to agree with them. Whitewashing history.
It's like debating a tree or something. It's just
Sadiq Khan. Sadiq Khan. His liberal task force for the statues is just full of Marxists and people who hate the monarchy. So what are they going to do? They're going to take down Nelson. They're going to take down Churchill.
Right. Exactly.
There's not one person on the right there. They're all black, and then I think there's one Asian. There's no white people on it. So where's the diversity?
That's exactly what's happened in Wales. They've got a diversity panel to look at a Black Lives Matter diversity panel to look at our history and say which ones they're going to be offended by. But the irony is that most of them don't know who is who.
No, and they're all white bar one.
That's right.
They're all white bar one.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Exactly. Exactly. And you shouldn't need you shouldn't need a diversity. It's like the vaccine and all this. You shouldn't need to have this type of programs going on if it's a natural progression, But it's not. They're forcing areas and they're forcing demographics and they're forcing this. and they're telling you you got to accept it. You know, you have to accept
it. It's programming, because I mean the most effective things, like words that we pretty much don't use anymore because they're bad, right? Like, you know, racist words and that. That wasn't a government's intervention. That wasn't anybody but communities and stuff over time saying, no, that's not that's not no cop. That was people. That was people power that did all that. That wasn't governments. The moment governments step in and start telling you how to speak and stuff like that, it goes the other way. They make the divisions wider every time.
You can tell when they're in trouble when they get rid of a man like Trevor Phillips, you know, from the Race Equality Council. You know, he looked at things and he came, you know, he came with common sense, but he listened. And if he had an opinion on one thing and he listened to somebody, he was big enough to change his mind.
Right.
Now we've got closed minds.
Yeah.
That's right. You know, it's like I've just been talking to people about it's one of the biggest problems we got at the moment. People getting into debates. I just said to someone the other day, you know, they were so desperate to win an argument. And I was like, just stop worrying about winning and start worrying about listening. You know, they're just so unprepared to listen. And I see these people. I mean, it's why I had to do the Sasha in the background for us today, because I see her as a perfect example of the will not listen, do not want to listen, won't listen.
She's the perfect example of the lads that were here that were there the other day. Absolutely. They have these really big, long. Are we all gone? What's going on?
Sorry, it's my fault. Sorry,
what's going on? Right, are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Don't panic. Do me in a little bit, to be fair. I've forgotten now. I've forgotten what I was saying. Oh yeah, so they've got these really long words. They've got these really long words that makes them sound very, very, very clever. So then when they say it to me and I reply back to them, they can't then call me racist because that's the next reply. So then they've got to think about what did I actually say, and they don't even know what they're actually saying. And it's like Sasha. Yeah. She'll spin off about how the systemic racism is in the economy of white people. That's how it's racist, and she'll do all that, and it will sound lovely, right? You think, yeah, all right, and I can buy that. So what's next? And she won't even know what it is. She'll be like, So that's why when I go up against Sasha, and I will do, because it has to be the final showdown. I've already got the Superman and the Superman picture of me destroying her. Right? It's the BLM Marxist picture. Yeah. So it will happen. But she won't do it because she knows that I can respond to her like nobody else. And I will do.
People, a lot of them are what I refer to as one movers. And what I mean by that is there are people that say go into debates and stuff like that, and they figure out, you know, the potential variables of what could come their way, what could come the other way. Then you got these other people, and you can always tell them, and they're on the left, and they come into a room. And they've got one preloaded thing in their head that they think is going to knock out the whole world. It's going to knock everyone down with this brilliant fucking line. And if and when that line fails, or they get a brilliant comeback or whatever else, they're totally and utterly without any comeback response. Yeah. They can't critically think on the spot. So if their head's not filled with something to say, the moment you've got one good comeback from them, that's it. They're done. From that point on, it's
at that point, they then shout, "You're a racist."
Yes,
exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
It was clear on the demo, and Danny, you said to me on the day, you know, every time that they'd say something to you, you'd say something back, and they'd be like, "Oh," you know, that's literally all they could do.
Yeah,
they have no.
I'm still waiting for Danny to be a white supremacist somehow. It's going to happen.
No, they called me a one guy at the beginning said, "I'm the only black." I said, "All lives matter," and he said, "Well, you're the only black guy here," and then you're shouting "White lives matter" or something. So that was one at the beginning. Then he called me a fascist, and they started saying "fascist scum on first streets," and then it the one that looked like Mayweather. He's wearing some silky outfit. He calls me a coon. That's all they got. all they've got is these rubbish things that it doesn't mean anything. It literally don't mean nothing. But what they haven't got Britishness inside of them, because they are anti-Britain. I don't care what anyone says. They're anti-white and anti-Britain, but they're allowed to be on YouTube. And the Voice of Wales is pro-Britain, right? And do you know what I mean? And that's inclusive. That's inclusive patriotism.
Yeah,
that's what they stand on. And
absolutely. We've got on your chat Jane Summer, who says, "Stan, you're a racist." Actually, I'm not. I'm a Britishist, and Danny Roscoe, I can stand next to all day, and he can call me his brother, hopefully, and I will call him my brother. Also, I admire Bahari VC, who fought and was critically injured for this country, and he's believe it or not, he's black. But the point is, Danny, what they don't like is when you dissect what's happening and who's speaking. So that young man, that black guy that was on Black Lives Matter speaking, he came from a posh, well-educated background. He was a rich, by the sounds of it, and he was at university.
He's more privileged than I was growing up.
And he never, looking at his hands, he's never done a day's work in his life. Now he says that he is being subjugated by me, who's had to work manually for 47 years. You know,
exactly, and that's what he said as well. He said I had a very good education. He came out and he said something, and he said he had a very, very good education, and that's all these people are. Let's not take it that they're Marxist, anti-white, anti-British. That's it. So that's what we need to call them out. And the race hustlers.
With that girl, by the way, she's been kicked, but she's also. I just had a look through the comments. She's basically hating on everything, probably including herself. Literally, one of her quotes was, "I hate everybody." What do you do with that?
Sounds about right for that lot, doesn't it? They're only happy when they're angry, aren't they?
and that's
exactly.
That's the irony, Tom.
Hate.
That's the irony, Tom, because they go under the banner of hate. Sorry, hope, not hate.
Yeah.
And when we were,
I know. These names are pretty sick when you think about it.
It's
they're all really, really sick because they mean completely opposite of whatever they say.
There's no hope.
Our new YouTube channel is called "Don't Kick Dogs." So no one can disagree with that, can they? Everyone's going to get behind that movement, surely. Subscribe.
You know what's going to happen? They're going to say it's racist against China. You know that's what they're going to say. Yeah. That's what they're going to get that angle.
Take their food.
No, that's your new one.
We support Korean vegetarians.
so on the day, guys, because I don't want to do you all injustices. So on the day, I think, Danny, you said to me that you didn't really expect to be getting into a back and forth as such.
Yeah, no. Go on, sorry, mate.
No.
Yeah, no. Do you know what it was? Some little choir boy come out and was like, Danny, let's make the bridge. Let's bridge the gap, right? And have a conversation. I'm like, cool, let's do it. Why do you hate? This is the first one. Why do you hate Black Lives Matter? So I'm like, okay, then. Because they want to get rid of the nuclear family. And we both know that, black fathers need to be in the house, because that's why they're saying everyone's stabbing each other in London, because there's no father figure. And also, where's the money? I want to know where the money is, because it's just going to the elite people. And he couldn't get back to me on either of them two, because he was expecting me just to say it's a Marxist organization. So I'm just gonna switch it up every time, tell him everything I don't like. And then it was a debate was kind of happening. And at some points it did get a bit, a bit antsy, I suppose. But the police did, let it happen. They let the debate really happen. So
for as capable as we know the police are or aren't at the moment, they weren't too bad in much as they let it happen.
Personally, at the beginning, they wanted to shut down Standing Down. When they realised they couldn't do it, they changed their attitude.
Right. So would you all agree that if they had a chance to shut that down that day, they just would have done?
100%.
Yeah, that's what as soon as we, it's a shame it's not online at the moment. It will be soon, but as soon as we step foot into public, the police were straight out of the van onto us.
Wow.
They would have had a code name like Prevent One or something like that, and it would have been their job to stop us going there. Now, unfortunately for them, we know that they have no jurisdiction over legislation. So no matter what they say, we're going to continue and do what we got to do, because whatever they do from that point is unlawful. So that's up to them. But also, we've done everything we can do to make sure we're able to travel. Like, we contacted every police force in South Wales. We got permission from the Welsh Assembly government when they upgraded to Tier 4 lockdown.
We asked for clarification.
They came back again and said nothing's changed. You're still able to travel.
You've done everything that you could, basically, to make sure it's legit.
Absolutely. And they've had that information.
And people won't realise that. So I'm glad you said that on here, because people would just assume you've taken everything into your own hands, done what you wanted, but you've actually done it all right.
And we've kept within the guidelines. The other point to talk about is the fact that the police are hinging their bets on, well, you're not accredited journalists.
Yeah,
that's what they're arguing, and so all over the weekend, and in fact, since this pandemic started, you've got Voice of Wales Online and the BBC going to car parks showing that they're closed, going onto beaches showing that there's nobody there, turning up with the police officers, probably in the same car, to see arrests and show arrests. So if you're pushing the narrative that the Welsh government want and what the police want, then you don't get done, unless of course you've got the cloak of invisibility, which Danny. But so when we told the police that we are journalists, we are not on the Chief Constable's accredited list, and nor do we want to be, because to get accreditation, we have to go in front of a union panel in Swansea. Well, what's the chances of me getting past a union panel?
Right. And the other thing as well is that it's not there. The people that don't know, there is not one universal press pass that then allows you to go to anything. It doesn't work that way. You get credentials to go to certain things, don't you guys? Yeah. So it might be that you need to get, if you're covering sporting events, you'll need credentials to be able to cover those events, which you get given by the people running the events. If you go into to a particular, even to certain demos, you will need to be in some cases invited by those people. Press pass or no, right? Am I right, guys?
That's correct, and more importantly,
that's what we get.
Yeah,
more often than not, people say, "Will you come and cover this story?"
Yeah,
right. So that's what we do.
Same here.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because, like, for example, there's been a couple of groups going down and protesting the Swansea City Football Club taking the knee. Now, with that happening as well, they know that Wales Online aren't going to give them a fair roll of the dice. So we were invited by a few different groups who are organising demonstrations. The last demonstration, which was on the Saturday, Danny was there. Well, you had fans, Swansea fans, you had Bristol fans, Huddersfield fans, who else? Nottingham fans, Cardiff fans, and they all got together at the Liberty Stadium. Now, there's no way in hell that any of them would contact any other news outlet, because they would not give them they wouldn't even give them a story. Never mind, it's not in the paper today.
And they didn't.
The demonstration isn't in the paper today. The's nothing.
No, I looked as well. I looked on Saturday and Sunday, and there was nothing yet.
Can I just point out one thing?
I think we should get people sharing your video across YouTube and other places as much as we can, because because the optics of that, and I can't stand that phraseology anymore, but the optics of that are you've just slapped those, especially for me, I can't stop thinking of the white liberals, but you've just slapped them straight in the chops, and that's the optics of it. And it'd be good to get that, those videos out there. Obviously, especially when your channel's down, guys, and and things like that. So are you okay if people share that video out?
Yeah. Well, I've got the one converting now. I've got the police one that is already saved. We've luckily, one of our team, they've always backed up everything we've got. So we've got all of it, so we haven't lost it. The only thing we've lost is the subscribers, but that's how it goes.
You will know they'll be back. They'll be back.
Yeah, but we can get all that information, all of the videos for you onto like a shared drive or something. You can take your pick.
Right.
Have anything you want.
We want to address somebody that's just come in the chat there.
So it's someone who, just for avoidance of any doubt, because no one can, I don't think there's been anyone challenge it in the comments, but there's someone called British Stewart, vow a racist. They were taken down for being racists. So obviously that's not true. We were taken down for copyright. The fake Voice of Wales, who are Antifa, the ones who orchestrate all this sort of stuff. They got shut down for violent and hateful content. They were called Antifa Sir Benfro. They then created a new page and called it Voice of Wales. Obviously, they're very, they've got a great imagination. So when our page closed down today, they've gone onto their page saying Voice of Wales has been closed down for racism, hateful content, homophobia. What else is on the list?
Well,
harassment and bullying, and all that's not true. So they literally are clipping lies. They've then, this is the worst one, because if you're not familiar with YouTube, you'll believe it. They've gone through their history of reporting. So everything that they've reported about us. So say they've called one of the PCP Wales demos child abuse. That's what they've reported it for. They've published that as our charge sheet and said, this is why Voice of Wales were closed down. So, the amount of lies that they are spewing out at the moment is unbelievable.
Yeah,
the followers are supporting it and pushing it, knowing it's false.
Once we got the determination from YouTube, we actually had to look up what it meant, and because it was so technical. But it sounds as well. There's two things. One is copyright, which we don't believe we've infringed, and the second one is we've used fraudulent licenses, something like that, which again we've not done.
No.
So we cannot understand why we've been taken down.
No.
And so we've appealed on that.
Yeah, and the fake Voice of Wales, when I was on the stream with them, they on the stream, and it was addressing this S4C and BBC Wales propaganda that they pushed out about white supremacy. So we're on that, and the lads are saying that, show me something. Basically, we've all seen it. We've seen it 100 times when people come out and that they get called white supremacists and get called racist. But while I was talking, the fake Voice of Wales was putting comments in saying I should know my heritage, and
wow.
And what else was it? I'm trying to find it on my phone, but I can't find it.
The problem is with the current.
It was basically
is the headline of the accusation lasts way longer than any proof you give if it's not true.
Yeah, no, but basically they were being like full on racist, like
they said
attacking based on race.
What do you say? Your heritage would be you're a
disgrace. I'm a race trader. I'm a race trader.
Wow.
What's the other one? It doesn't look black to me.
Yeah,
stuff like
it.
that.
What?
Yeah, and by the way, this was really funny about this is this was the
black enough.
Yeah, well, it's brilliant because we come under a lot of fire. We had to really, really, overemphasize the security. So when Danny came on, me and Stan agreed we had to ask the question: are you or are you not a white supremacist? Because you never know.
You never know.
Danny confirmed that.
And you really do never know. I have learned that the hard way.
It's ridiculous from their channels and whatnot, but we've seen this 100 times before. Okay, we've seen patriots coming up, standing up against people or against things that you know, the government or the media doesn't like, and they put out this thing. So imagine that you've got 5,000 subs, and BBC Wales, the national, you know, media outlet, and S4C, another Welsh media outlet, put this propaganda, putting their faces on, and they started off with incorrect information anyway. They cut what Stan said to make it look worse. So imagine that. So you know, you got 5,000. So obviously Wales are scared of something. They're scared of an uprising, and then they've seen overnight it double, right? So they know they need to get rid of these boys as soon as they can. And you know, it's easy. Lobbyists for YouTube, you know what they're like.
We know exactly why.
Was going after them, and we're not protected by the fact that we're not government regulated. That's what I wanted to say to you earlier about this whole journalist thing. But where is this line, this imaginary line that they like to draw to us, right? Which I'm sure you agree isn't there, between professional journalists and say citizen journalists. It's all bollocks.
I can tell. I can
write paperwork that you're a journalist.
No. No paperwork, no qualifications. If you tell the people something, that's journalism, because they don't know about it. So it doesn't matter who you are. You don't need a press pass. You don't need to go to journalistic school.
My point being is there's no qualification. There's no thing that you have to do to become an accredited journalist. No. You know, you're a journalist if you report. You know
exactly. But if you report for the state, you're going to have gone for university. So you've gone for university for a journalist course and a media course, but you're going to come out a Marxist, because this is university. This is what they teach. They don't just teach you the core subjects. They teach you Marxism. They teach you communism. They teach you all these things to hate Britain. To hate you. So when you go out,
the once noble pursuit of being an independent journalist. Which was important because it wasn't necessarily the most money, but it was the one where you are completely independent in your thought and everything. That noble profession is now being attacked by the mainstream journalists.
Because they know more people are going on to streams like this. Yeah, more people are restreaming and rewatching and getting the real news off of people like us. Okay, and the journalists know that their time's up because they've been lying for so long. And all people want to know is the truth, right? That's all they want to know. They don't want to know
some channels numbers compared to say Sky News. There are channels that will smash them to pieces.
Maya Tuesday's channel beats Sky News by about 1 million views. So there we go.
It's a joke. They don't even have a chance, and they know it. The thing of it is, I've seen so many other opportunities where they could have worked with us other ways or whatever else, but they're insistent on this fucking narrative. That's the problem. It's like, if it doesn't fit the narrative, so therefore people like you guys have got to be wiped out. They're gonna find, try, I expect, to find a way of demonizing Danny. So with what happened the other day, you obviously finally gave Black Lives Matter the slap in the face that they needed from the right person they needed it from. So what going forward? What would you say going forward? Where are we at? Where are you at? What are you thinking? And what do you think they'll be thinking?
I know
you strategize in your mind. So
it's all going to go for the. It's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Black and White Unite is gonna naturally just become this union of people. And from that point on, I don't know where it's going to go, but I'm going to go towards as many counters as we can do, as many protests as we can do. And then, the Sarah Garvey debate that we had, I want to do one of that with Sasha and the rest of her black supremacists, and me and all of my patriot people, okay? But have it like question time. Have it in the audience. We can have it in a small theatre or something, but have that as the final. This is the decider. This is where we fully smash things out.
That would be awesome.
See,
that's what we want to get to.
The thing is, Danny and Tom, I actually believe that most of this, it's not a conspiracy theory. But most of this is allowed to go ahead because whilst we're fighting on the ground, we're not dealing with the politicians that have caused this mess.
Yes.
And I actually wrote to the government's petitions asking or saying that the Mayor of London position should be an appointed position, not an elected position. And then I went into it to say that the Mayor of London, the position for Mayor of London is so important for the United Kingdom on the world stage that we cannot have a poisoned little man called Khan blackening our names throughout the world and causing mayhem in London. It just makes us ridiculous. Yeah. Now, the government have refused that petition, and I don't know why. Perhaps if Danny would like to send it in, you might get it through.
I don't ever get petitions through. I put petitions through all the time, and they refuse me all the time. I've had a good few, but it is true. It should be in an appointed position as well. It should be of the government of the day as well, because he's a Labour guy and he just blames everything on the Conservatives. You know, they don't give him enough money. They don't give him enough money. That's why he has increased the knife crime. He's increased the rapes. He's increased the murders because he hasn't got enough money. But yeah, he spent about 150,000 on a Black Lives Matter fist at Christmas. He spends at least £200,000. He spends about at least £200,000 every few months on his PR. Okay, he did Taylor Swift about 100 grand for a private one-on-one. Yeah, what's going on?
The thing is, he doesn't address the feckless fathers of the BAME community that are hacking each other to death.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at when we had I think it was the highest stab rate in God knows how many years or ever, maybe
in the world.
That same week, he was putting out tweets about how many trees he planted for the quality of the air. I mean, it's good, well, how do you deal with that? I mean, for me, that's a clear case of a guy who's should have been just fired ages ago. There was plenty of reasons. It's not like you couldn't have found one.
He shouldn't have been here. He shouldn't even be here now. He's on borrowed time now because the elections were supposed to be last year. But this is the thing. Like Stan said, what about the single parents that the black community are saying this is why. This is why people are stabbing each other. In fact, I'm going to call out the Black Lives Matter now. But why are you not in South London addressing the issues of kids kidding kids? Why are you not addressing that one issue? Why are you not opening youth clubs for the kids to go in and get an education? You
got $2 billion. You got $2 billion to do
exactly.
it with.
Why are they not doing this? And
youth programs
because they're too busy blaming people
everyone else
100 years ago. And David Lammy and Abbott are the same. They are Marxists, and they want to blame everybody else except their own community.
Mm-hmm. And that money,
and you've got to worry as well.
Money that they've got is there for one thing, and that is to complete their destruction. It's not there to help people.
No, it's not, because that's Marxism. The people at the top get all the money, and the people below get the equal amount. That's if you look at Africa. If you look at Robert Mugabe, how much money did he get given, and how much did he keep? How much did he give to the people? This is socialism, Marxism, all dressed in one. And this is what Black Lives Matter say. So Black Lives Matter say they want to go back to Africa because that's their home country. Well, they want to go back to a Marxist system. But yet they're going to be saying, hang on a minute, it's not a Marxist organization. It's a grassroots. Okay, so it's a grassroots movement that doesn't do anything for the black person at all. So what is it there for? What's it designed for? What are you doing?
That's a great question.
All it's doing is dividing the people. Okay, it's dividing people, and it's making people angry, and it's creating more tension in certain communities. So then when something happens, they can then use that victimhood of their oppression of look at what's happened in this community. It's really bad, and then it will go again. So it's a big cycle of just oppressive feelings and negative energy and victimhood. So if we all united and went under All Lives Matter, okay, if we was gonna have a slogan, that's the one we need to be, because then we could all get together in the community, okay, every single person say, what's the problem?
It's genuinely a good slogan as well.
Exactly, because it's saying it's not excluding anyone, it's not excluding anyone, not based on anything, because it's all lives. Come on.
Yeah.
Danny, I want you to play devil's advocate and write to Sainsbury's saying what a fantastic idea having a black space is. Could you have a woke I'm white and guilty corner so that people can stand in it?
They would as well. I will do that. Right? But they would.
In fact, perhaps they could even have a confession room where white people can confess their guilt to the black people that are in the shop at the time.
They can have CCTV, like a confessional. They can go in and confess, right? But it's on a shame TV in the black area. So the staff room.
Oh, hold on, didn't they do that in China and Korea and Vietnam? Oh, they did, didn't they?
Yeah, guys, you've got to take responsibility. We've got to realise it's time to take responsibility. And if I have to stand in the shop and spend a couple of hours apologising to every black person I see about slavery that actually Britain never committed, then I have got no problem doing that, because that is what is being required of us. Don't be so unhelpful.
But I can't even believe we're having these conversations, to be fair, anyway, because it's just so ridiculous.
That's
it's why it's important that we have these conversations, and the voice of what the lads of the Voice and Bars, they were starting to have these type of conversations and starting to address things in their own community, like the art center is becoming very black. It's not equal. It's not becoming equal. It's becoming very black populated. But this is in Wales, which isn't a black area. So if you got your arts is going to be Welsh.
Yeah.
So why are they enforcing something? So when Dan says that, what happens?
Yeah.
He gets called a white supremacist.
Funnily enough, okay, we had a letter through the door today, and this is the whole reason why we've been taken down, basically. And it's this, which is it's gone invisible because it's green, but it's this letter for the census. So, but the two key points here that are highlighted, made sure everyone made aware of. So in Wales, you can now vote as a 16-year-old. So it's a reminder that as a young person, by registering to vote, you can now take part in the Senate election. But the other thing, which is what we've been talking about a lot, is that foreign nationals have the vote. So these people that we're seeing in Penally, are they going to be able to vote? We don't know. But,
define the foreign nationals. There's a definition.
That's it. Our understanding of it is someone with a fixed abode, not even someone who's got citizenship. So Wales is going to become. There
you go. It's the dumping ground.
It is.
And that's exactly what Tony Blair did in the 90s. That's exactly, and it's a Welsh thing. Tony Blair did that in the 90s nationally. He said, we want 160,000 people to come in, and we'll give them
you guys are a real spanner in the fucking works then. You're a real spanner in the works, because this would be going pretty silently and smoothly without you.
Exactly.
The point is that last week, before Danny came, the Welsh government was spending money on advertising.
Can somebody remove that fucking racist prick, please? Sorry.
Yeah.
Can somebody house an immigrant?
Yeah.
Now they've put that out above homeless veterans. And then the next week,
and it's not just house one, just on that one.
They then get this out, and of course it says, as a foreign citizen, age 16 or over, by registering to vote, you can now take part in the Senate elections. So, are they going to gerrymander?
That's exactly what they're doing.
The voting system, and people will register. The Labour Party will register foreign national names saying that they live there and they're entitled to vote, and they'll be given a postal vote, and then they'll sign and vote Labour. That's what this is all about, and that's why we've been taken down.
And it's just imagine if you were able to expose that corruption, because no doubt, as soon as the BBC put that article out, you had the head of Plaid Cymru, Adam Price. You had Nia Griffiths, who's prominent in the Labour Party.
Correct.
So that means you would have had Plaid Cymru, the Labour Party, the Lib Dems, the Welsh Conservatives, who may as well be Liberals. Every MP, AM, and supporter would have been putting emails into YouTube to get us off the air. Now, the reason they want to do that is because of this. They know that there's a threat coming up. And the reason being, it's not a threat that they're going to get exposed. It's a threat that people are going to find out that they're actually doing these things. Because people aren't aware that Wales is going to be a nation of sanctuary. You know,
so how's the public, how's the general public treat, well, in two questions, I suppose. How does the general public treat the Voice of Wales in their own area? And how does the general public treat you the other day when you were all there at the demo?
Yeah, brilliant. Well, as soon as we had the BBC expose, you had people stopping you in Morrison's, wasn't it? Shaking your hand,
shaking our hands.
Oh, look, it's true, he's not wearing a mask and stuff like that, and the amount of messages and emails and stuff like that we've been getting as well, excellent.
Yeah.
I'd say the only time there's a negative comment thrown at us when we're walking on the street, it's normally someone with pink hair, ridiculously overweight. And they're confused whether they're male or female.
It's funny you say the pink hair because it literally is. It literally is. A 60-year-old with pink hair. Yeah.
The point is, sorry. The point is, Tom, that Nia Griffiths is the Shadow Secretary of State for Wales.
Yeah.
She's very, very high up in the Labour Party in Westminster, and for her to attack a small channel that you have to go and find, it's not like, Channel 1, BBC, Channel 2, BBC 2, ITV, Voice of Wales. You can't do that. You've got to find us. And for her to comment as the Shadow Secretary of State for Wales shows that we're not only over the target, but our bombs are actually hitting them. And it's repetition. And we back up our evidence. We don't just come out wildly with stuff. We back it up. And like I say, this is why they've stopped us, because we are exposing the fact that they're trying to gerrymander the vote rigging of Wales in the next elections, and they don't like it. And they've pushed, because here in South Wales, we've got a failed Labour politician who's the Chief and Police Crime Commissioner, and we've got the Chief Constable whose hobbies include crochet knitting with women and speaking Welsh in tongues and all kinds of other nonsenses. And then you've got Labour, a blanket of Labour in the south of Wales. And guess what? On Google Trends, there is a pocket of lightness, and it's us. It's the Voice of Wales that's trending on Google Trends. And that's the reason why they want to shut us down, because we have an influence.
Yeah. And the girl as well. So there's a group called PCP Wales.
Absolutely.
And this is something that's already in England. And it's the new global rollout, the UNESCO global rollout of sexual education for children aged 3 and above, discussing consent, masturbation, and things like that to under 4-year-olds,
bondage,
anal sex, and facial ejaculation to 11 years and above. So they are really campaigning on this. And all of these Welsh Assembly AMs are all for it. Labour, and bearing in mind, this isn't something that they're voting on neither. So they're making it mandatory, no parental opt-out. They're removing maths and science from the curriculum, which is biology. Obviously, your biology's gone, and they're going to be teaching about all these genders and sexualizing children. And the fact that you've got so many convictions from politicians, teachers, school governors that they can provide openly and all the evidence, they really don't like that.
And they don't like us for promoting them.
For promoting it. Yeah.
And can I just answer a question directly to someone, just personally, just for a moment, please? Just there's this person here. So, hey guys, have you considered having anyone from Patriotic Alternative on the show? They're doing some great work. So let me just answer that. No, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, we're on a raid, Tom. They're raiding us. I'm trying to get up in here. Yeah, we're under attack. We're under attack by the.
We're under attack. I'm sure we'll make it through.
The true racists. We're under attack with the true racists who've still got all of their accounts, who've still got the YouTubes and still got everything else. Yet the lads down there are not allowed it.
They've got all 5 accounts open. They've got all 5 accounts open on the Nazi accounts.
Well,
and
you know, right?
Yeah, I know, it's incredible. It's incredible. But you are the danger. You are the danger.
And Wales understands it well. You got to think about Wales's population. It's not massive. So when these boys bring in big numbers,
you must stand out doing what you're doing.
Exactly, and people are listening. And when people are listening, what happened to the boys? They had Katie Hopkins on a couple of months back. It might have been 6 weeks, couple of months.
Yeah,
and she's predicted all of what's going on. You know, the establishment. Right. Because she can see the same things. What happened to her? What happened to Tommy? What happened to everyone? They try to get excluded. The people like what they say, so the people gravitate. They get bigger and bigger and bigger. So then the government's got to come in and try and do more stupid things.
Yeah.
To try and stop them, instead of just listening. Do you know what I mean? Instead of just listening to concerns and saying, well, you know what, you can start lobbying us. Tell us what you think we should be doing and blah blah blah, and we can have a debate. But they don't. They just try and crush them. But they're going down the same route as everyone else. But then that means their truth is a true truth, you know, because people want to hear it and they want to act upon what they're saying.
Yeah. And really quick, while we're on that subject, you know, we've been told about, you know, PA, just for example, you know, when we had our strike, they instantly, you know, they raided our channel a little while ago. They do all the, you know, the silly childishness, the name calling, the silly Welsh accents and all stuff like that. And in the next breath, they're saying things like, "Oh, should we offer an olive branch?" And it's like, or, you know, we did try and tell them that they were going to be called racist. It's like, hang on a minute, what makes you think that we didn't know that? We've been called racist for the last, since before 2016. So we knew what we were doing. We knew what we were getting into. We know we ain't got to prove nothing.
we were being called racist for actually supporting Brexit. You know.
Yeah, exactly. It's not saying you don't know it's going to happen, is it?
No, exactly. Nobody taught us anything. You know, we've learned everything that we've learned ourselves. You know, it hasn't even been a year that YouTube channel was up. Now, that in that year, we've had police at the door daily, the Welsh government gunning for us, the council gunning for us, BBC Wales gunning for us, you know, and not just gunning for us, banging the door, you know, late at night, early in the morning, you know, to try and hand serve you, not even a fine, and that there may be a fine.
Are they just trying to ruffle your feathers at times as well? They're just trying to make it not worth your while.
Yeah. But the thing is, they don't understand, and this is what Katie Hopkins said: when you've got nothing to lose, you're the most dangerous person around. I put myself in the position purposely that I have got nothing. I don't need anything. You know, I've got my family, I've got my children, I've got my partner, I've got my friends. That's all I need. I don't need royalties, riches, and all that crap. You know. So I've got nothing to lose in this game. I haven't got to, you know, I lost my job at the start of this pandemic. And I saw that as my opportunity. Right, there we go. I'm 100% on this. And I threw myself into this. I'm not going to look back at all.
The point is, Tom, that we're asking this question. Is it right? Is it moral to teach 3 years olds and upwards about sex? And the answer to me is if children still believe in Father Christmas, then why are you teaching them about sex and consent?
Yeah,
it's
consent.
just
when I went to the anti-Donald Trump marches, not because I was against Donald Trump, because I wanted to go and film the lunatics that were.
Yeah,
I spoke to these people about this, and you know, I said to them, why is heterosexual sex not being taught at that age? And not that I want it to be, it was an example. And she said, because that's not the norm. I'm like, so what you're saying is you don't want to teach the normal thing that happens because they're too young, but the abnormal thing that science doesn't even back up as being real yet, you're willing to teach to kids who don't need to know about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's no answer.
No, there isn't an answer, Tom. But the real scandal of this is that these two issues on this voting slip were never part of a Labour manifesto. The teaching of sex to kids of 3 and upwards was not a part of a Labour manifesto.
No, and that's the point.
And that's the point. And now they're pushing it through in a pandemic where you can't oppose it, where you can't gather, and you can't go into to petition your school governors because there's no school governors to petition. And this is the scandal. Something so obnoxious.
So come on, what's the end game with it? What in your mind? What's the end game? Because I know in there you've already got the end game.
Yeah, I would say the age of consent is going to be lowered. That is going to be happening. This is where we're going, and this isn't just Welsh Assembly. You know, this in England. This is in the curriculum in England since September. It's already in Scotland. But it isn't just the UK. If you look at Netflix, you know, you've got the things like Cuties, you've got the baby and stuff like that.
You've got this phrase, minor attractive people now, MIPS.
Yeah, but imagine them bringing in a lot of lot of illegal immigrants to Wales, and then they lower the age of consent for sex. Imagine that. Imagine all the Muslims thinking, yo, you know, we do it when we're back home to like 10-year-olds or whatever is acceptable here. This is why,
right? No, not just that. When we went to Penally, remember we interviewed the guy, and this is one of the people that was there, and they were the ringleader. They were there and they do all the talking. We'd ask them, how old do you think girls are allowed to have sex? And they're like, 12. And it's like, no, mate, that's not right. And then he's saying, you know, virgins, we like virgins. Some guy says, you're not going to find any of them in Wales. And then he says, oh, trust me, you'll find them easy. You know, that's, you know, it's so in your face. Yeah. And it's so blatant. And the Welsh government, you know, the Welsh government saying, we oppose Penally. But the Welsh government, they oppose Penally, but they oppose them being in the barracks rather than...
sickening. That's sickening to them. And there you go, and there's your integration, and there's all the stuff that they get taught how to integrate as well. That just shows, doesn't it? If that's the attitude.
That's right.
It seems like it's us that's got to do the integration. You know, it's still got to do the integration.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's
what I was saying yesterday as well. It's like, is it fair to take someone from, say, Somalia, who's 30-odd years old, who's probably lived by the machete, and then bring them here and then ask them, expect them, even if you were playing devil's advocate, ask them, expect them to be able to fit in without using that machete to resolve their problems when they get real. It's just like, it's not even realistic, you know.
And also, Britain as a country is different to any other country in the world. Our traditions, our values, how we treat each other is completely different. You can't teach Britishness, okay? It's ingrained into you, and if from a young age, if you either accept it or you don't, and that's why you can see the people who don't accept Britishness, right? And you see the people who do from a mile away.
Yeah,
so you can't just drop in Islamabad here.
Of an island race and mixed with the touch of the Europe that we've taken on in a culture, and the parts that we've, you know, and the parts that come from the empire. We are that mix, aren't we? But yeah.
Well, we should be proud. We should be proud of the empire. We still should be proud of the empire. I'm very proud of the empire, the British Empire.
Being the only empire that fought against slavery against the world,
regardless, it was profitable. It was very profitable, regardless of if it stopped slavery or it stopped all this crap or all that crap or whatever. It was very profitable. We ruled the 7 seas, and people knew not to come and attack England. What are we now? We are full of the alphabet community, people who get scared when you don't say what, you know, you say something they don't like. You know, they start crying, they start getting. This is what we are. So if these people from
smaller pieces.
So if these people from outside, they're coming in here, who have we got to defend? That's why I call for the men, the men of England. That's why I call for them every time, because we need to come together and make sure that we're defending our women and children. I don't care how people take that or whatever. That's what we need to do. But right about now, we just got people who accept everything and they're too woke to do anything.
But that's the reason. That's the reason, Danny, that people are attracted to this country. The Britishness. It's not diversity. You know, originally it was integration that failed, And then they said, oh, diversity. And this is failing too, because we're failing to uphold our own Britishness.
Yeah. I mean, I know that even in the best case of playing devil's advocate, I think Douglas Murray wrote in one of the books where you could say, well, we've overcompensated, and perhaps that overcompensation would come back the other way if this was an honest game we were playing. You know, you could see why there's overcompensation. You could see why that could happen. Say with Jews or with black people, anybody that's been treated bad, you could see why there would be overcompensation. But that should roughly level up and meet up, but not where you got people with these crazy, horrible agendas.
And that's why we are dangerous, you see, because racists like PA, they just shout and bellow and they've got no substance behind. We come at things from a position of, let's get the information. So when Danny asked the question, how old do you believe the age of consent is in this country, to a immigrant, and he said 12, that was the danger, that he was exposing a truth. And it wasn't from him being racist, it was from him asking the correct question.
But people are outraged.
It was from the guy with the invisible cloak asking the question too.
Yeah, no.
Which is the ultimate.
I was told they were more outraged that I was harassing the undocumented migrants who was entered illegally. They were more outraged at that than what he had said.
Yes.
You know, and bearing in mind, 2 weeks later, they were meeting young girls on Snapchat and they were going down to the local skate park to meet them with bags of booze. Luckily,
which part about illegal? This is what I get so frustrated with this, right?
Do you know what?
What about illegal do they not understand with this immigration stuff, right? You've got legal immigration where they've filled out the forms, they've done all the right things that they should do to be here, and they get jumped over by people who have done what these people have done. But people just seem to ignore the word illegal. It's like it don't mean nothing.
No, but they're the voters, you see. They're their future voters, so they're going to ignore everything.
It is true. It is true because I remember at the time when Tony Blair did it, when Tony Blair said that it's okay to claim benefits, it's okay to do this, and in Watford, in my local town, it was quite laboury, to be fair. And I remember they did the exact same thing. There was loads of people coming in, and they were kind of changing the rules and saying, you didn't have to, you could vote earlier than what you should and whatnot. And they flooded my area. They flooded it, and then it stayed Labour for the next, 2 elections. So this is ultimately what they're doing, and Dan and Stan are right on that one. If they let all the migrants come into Wales, they don't even need to keep them there. As long as they go into a camp and they get the names and their details, then the voting forms go to them camps. They'll just fill them out there as Labour, and send it back. It doesn't matter where they've gone after that.
Yeah,
they'll probably do it up and down the country.
And perhaps you can help me shed some light on this from documentaries, right? So you don't know because who they're produced by, but from the documentaries that I see, it seems like when these people come into the country illegally, a lot of them are put into places like hotels or whatever, whilst they're being processed, and they just fuck off. Excuse my language, but they just go, and nobody stops them. No, is that wrong? Is that a wrong picture to have, or is that
no? That's exactly what happens. They're free in Penally, for example. The gates are open and they go, and they're supposed to be back at 10. And if they're not, they're not. And that's that.
That's that.
Wow. Where do they go? Yeah. And actually, there is one lady you might have heard about her, Dottie, she loved them. She was going there daily, taking them food and doing all this. She's actually stolen one, and that's the only way I can put it. She's stolen one, and they now live in Swansea together. Now, is there a law against that? She's literally stolen an immigrant. But she, I always say the thing is, and as the saying goes, you house them then. You house them then. I'll take my hat off to her. She has.
She literally did.
Yeah.
It's not even a spare bedroom either.
I'm still blown away because if I'm understanding this right, you've gone up and asked a genuine question, which you didn't know what the answer was going to be.
Yeah.
You got given an answer, and that's landed you in the shit.
Oh yeah, yeah. We were racist, harassing bullies.
Wow.
Of course, the other question that we raise is that the Labour Party, since the 1970s, have ignored grooming gangs. They've ignored the rape of thousands of white girls.
They actively avoid it.
Yeah. But suddenly on the road to Damascus, last week we had the girl who's trying to get her citizenship back, and the Labour Party is saying she was groomed.
Yeah.
You know, so they've picked one person that they say has been groomed at the age of 15.
That's her face. That Begum. Shamima
Begum.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm feeling with that.
Yeah,
and yet we've got white MPs, Labour MPs, saying that the white girls should shut their traps.
Yeah, in the interest of diversity.
In the interests of diversity.
Yeah. But the thing that makes me laugh about Shamima Begum is the fact that the same people who are saying that she was groomed are the same people who are telling us all we should be listening to Greta Thunberg, for God's sake.
and it's the same.
It's picking and choosing. They contradict themselves all over the place. They have no argument.
No, that's it. The picking and the choosing, and the other thing as well. Have you noticed they're having the cake and eating it arguments? Where I'll give you an example: the transgender argument. So they say that sex is a social construct, which is not. It's just not true. But sex is a social construct. And at the same time, they then say, I was born in the wrong body. I was actually supposed to be a man. I needed surgery. Well, no, you don't, because it's just a construct. So it don't mean nothing.
Yeah.
What's between your legs don't mean nothing. You just fucking said so yourself. When they want both ways.
Well, one of the ones that I used, you know, and it was I can't remember if it was to a police officer. It was on a live at some point, but they were giving us a bit of grief about calling themselves journalists. And I said, well, if a man can call himself a woman, I can call myself a journalist. Why not? You know, some people are identifying themselves as two-spirit, unicorn, rainbow, something or others. Do you know what I mean?
There was a guy, legitimately a guy who, now the story's crazy, but what's more crazy is the parents. Just hear this, right? This guy was about 53 years old, and he I'm sorry. He decided that he identified with I think it was like an 8-year-old. He identified with being an 8-year-old Thai girl, right? Just coincidentally, and the parents of so he identifies as being an 8-year-old Thai girl, but his friend that he wants to play with also happens to be an 11-year-old actual Thai girl, and the parents letting them play together like they're actually both 11-year-old. It's like a 50-year-old man sat there with I don't even want to think about it. You know what I mean? It's
horrendous. How stinking it all is. The fact that this person very likely is going to be some kind of paedophile, and in order to avoid offending or being called a nasty name, you let him sit there with your child.
Yeah.
Where the hell are we going in this world?
And this is the scary thing. When you've got people dangerous people like Peter Tatchell, who has said openly that he believes that 11-year-old boys should be able to have sex, and he's allowed to go on mainstream journalism, and yet we have been banned from Voice of, from a YouTube channel. It is just bizarre.
You think Milo was on an episode of Joe Rogan in which he admitted to being sexually abused, but through Milo's need to save face, he kind of made out he was the aggressor, which, you know, the age he was, 14, he obviously blatantly wasn't. That was what got him cancelled, because people were saying he was condoning abuse of minors. The fact of it was, what he was really doing was confessing that he'd actually been abused by his fucking priest. But because he's on the wrong side, It's
exactly.
Let's rip him down. Let's tear him to pieces because he tried to hide behind a bit of humor with it, you know, because it's obviously a big story to him.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big Milo fan, but I remember watching that just thinking, this is wrong. You know, he's just admitted to something that probably was quite difficult, you know?
Yeah.
And you just see it too much. So if there's something over this last couple of days, that you could say that you feel like you've achieved with what you've just done. Again, the question's for all of you. What would you say that you feel the best thing that you've achieved? It doesn't have to be one thing, but over this last couple of days, I realised that losing the channel wasn't one of those things, but
or was it?
Or was well, that is the question, because the resurrection's on. So
we have to just all we'll have to do is get the BBC to put another hit piece out on us just to get our subs back out. You know, they did us a favour last time.
You'll be bigger than the BBC if they keep doing
it. They will. They'll say the white supremacists are now underdog lovers. That's what they'll be. They're hiding under a pet channel. Do you know what I mean? They're hiding under a pet channel. Don't go to them because they're gonna radicalize your animals.
Yeah.
Dog radicalizer.
We will have the NS, what are they called, RSPCA on us then, and all these anti-right activists who are the stand up to racism lot.
Yeah, can you make the dog a little less white?
Do you know what? The only animal that I know of that was radicalized was on HMS Ark Royal, and the Queen Mother used to go on, and this parrot used to be effing and jeffing and swearing, and they used to have to hide it from Her Majesty, and she used to insist on him coming out, and the parrot would be going and swearing and effing and jeffing. Brilliant.
The only animal I know that's been radicalised is Sasha. So
yeah. But to answer your question, Tom, I would definitely say the thing that my personal victory for the weekend was stand up to racism were there amongst the crowd. They were orchestrating it. They were going there. They were telling them where to stand. When Danny went over there, you'd see the guy in a Welsh rugby top, bald guy, go over, grab a couple of the black lads, take them over there, say, stand here, because it's good for optics. But I was, when the guy was speaking on the microphone, you could see the stand up to racism, because we were asking him for an interview. So you could see the stand up to racism guy, Alan Thomas, run down, grab him and start trying to tap him on the shoulder. And I'm shouting, stay away from them. They are using you. They are using you. And the guys, I think it was about 3 or 4, the black guys who were on the microphone speaking, pushed him away. And they said, go away, go away, go away. And I know that would really, really, really have pissed off stand up to racism. And that's our local battle, is them scumbags, because they are nothing but, you know, before we even went on YouTube, and I saw again a PA comment, you know, oh, we told you they'd call you racist anyway. We've been called racist for years, right? Yeah. But it hasn't been on camera. We haven't been doing stuff on camera. So when it comes, stand up to racism, Swans, you've always been our local battle. We've had them doxing us, putting our address out for years. So seeing the people they want to use.
How many years again have you been going through this?
Well, it's been since Brexit, so at least 2016.
Wow. Okay.
It's always been on the streets. It's only been the last year since Black Lives Matter became popular, or a fashion trend, that we've started to get onto YouTube, because we just had to try and step it up that level. But
yeah, of course.
Down to racism, they've just gone on and on for years and years. So it's nothing that is new to us.
Yeah, we've got an announcement in a week's time, we think, and the area of Swansea is going to be festooned with socialist scumbags, with Antifa, with Black Lives Matter, and Danny's coming down.
Looks like I am.
We're looking forward to coming up to see you guys as well, though. I think you said March the 20th. We're looking forward to coming up and reporting up there.
I think there's going to be something else on March the 20th. I don't know. I'm trying to get something together, because I didn't realise it was Anti-Racism Day. So Black Lives Matter are going to be doing some type of demo somewhere for this
Oh yeah,
anti-racism day. So I think we should all go out there with just call them racist all the way through. Like, you know, I think we should do something like that instead of the Trafalgar Square one. But I don't know. We'll just work it out as it comes. It's going to be either Trafalgar Square or we'll do our own thing. I don't know. The boys from the SBD, they're happy to come and assist as well. So
the thing is, there's enough of us now where we can cover everything if necessary. Do you know what I mean? We're in that position, aren't we? There's enough of us now where we go, you know, right, well, you know, and be able to make that choice, which is a good position to be in. So Voice of Wales, excuse me, sorry guys, you is your new channel up now?
It is, and we've gone from 5 to 31 subs since we've been online. So it's an increase.
Can you put your channel or link in the chat?
Yeah, it's just done under fluorescent.
And also we've got our web page, which we'll put up once we
finalize it.
Yeah, once we finalize. So that's Voice of Wales, www.voiceofwales.com.
Yeah.
And we'll put news information in there in case we lose anybody.
Yeah.
But Fluorescent has put up in your chat our new Voice of Wales.
Yeah.
And remember as well. I mean, always use us around you as well. If ever anybody gets, you know, bloody taken down or whatever, just get a message out to us. I mean, it's like Richard Inman the other day. He was taken down, and it was just to let people know what's going on. So, you know, it's not much I could do, but at least to let them know, you know, he'd been taken down. You know, so we at least do that for each other. And like, you know, he's gonna be on, just for everybody watching, by the way, he's gonna be on tomorrow, same time as we went on tonight. Again, probably partly to discuss him being cancelled. This cancellation thing is getting out of control as well now, and it's like we need to talk about another time, because it's getting. I thought we got to the point of critical mass with that, and we were over the worst of it, but it seems to be making a comeback, and a devastating one at that.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys. I'm quite worried about it at the moment. It's very bad. It
is. I think something that Tommy said when he was deplatformed, and is all they're doing is pushing us underground. And that's the worst thing they can do. At least on YouTube, they see everything we do and see everything we say in. If they push this movement underground, they've got no idea. Nothing.
Exactly. I feel the same about my enemies as well. It's like I would rather know, like, whether it's far left, far right, where they are, who they are, what they think, what the latest is in their ideology. Yeah. I know where my enemies are, what they think. I mean, that's a pretty good position to be in. You go and cancel all these people. You don't know nothing about where they're at or what they're thinking, what they're planning. Do you know what I mean? It's good for anyone.
And, you know, and this isn't, you know, I just want to say this isn't a threat, but hypothetically, if we and all of us lot on this side of the argument were these violent, racist, you know, nasty animals of human beings, would they really want to anger us that much? You know, would they really want to keep pushing? Because that's what they're doing. And that to me shows that they don't believe what they say. Because you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't jump into a lion's cage and start poking them with sticks, would you?
I remember going, one of my first Tommy Robinson demos I went to, when things were different than they are now. And I remember, because it was back in the family friendly days where it actually was family friendly. And I remember it was one of the first times I'd seen Antifa down the road. So I went down the road to have a listen to see what they were screaming and shouting about. And of course they knock off at 3:30 exactly. But because the money runs out. But the funny thing was, it's like we were there for, I think it was for one of Tommy's court trials, and they were singing and chanting stuff that had absolutely nothing to do with why we were there, or anything to do with anything that anybody had ever said. It was just like somebody giving them these chants to go along with, and they're like completely irrelevant to anything that's going on, but then they are doing it anyway.
The number of times that they're offended by something that you haven't said outweigh the number of times that you've said something, you know?
Well, it's your microaggressions. That's what it is.
That's all it is. Microaggressions. Yeah. Anyway, people, I'm going to be jumping off. You lot all stay on if you want. I've got something to do tomorrow, but just watch my channel tomorrow.
Again, I'll just walk in and out.
No, I've got something. I'm getting messages, and I've got something to do. So it's for tomorrow, right? So everyone will know what it is tomorrow, what's happening, and just watch the channel tomorrow, my channel, which is Danny Roscoe's channel.
Danny Roscoe's channel. Don't forget, you know,
I'm 1.4. I'm 1.4 thousand now. So.
He's got there now. Big up to Danny because he's going to be able to do what he's.
And then Voice of Wales will get it tomorrow. Watch. They'll have it in 24 hours again.
Can we thank you before you jump off, Danny, for your support and actually to the wider community as well. Paz, active, and we've heard that Little Veterans Down. They've taken him off the air as well. We are facing unprecedented and uncertain times, and we do need to be able to speak. Because as Churchill once said, jaw is better than war.
Yeah, definitely.
I didn't realise there'd been so many purges. Even in is this all in the last few days?
Yeah, last few days. It's been a cult. There's been a cult, but we all know who's behind. Look, we got PA on our things, right? I don't care. I'm not businessing with them anymore. They've got PA on here on our chat. Okay, they're raiding everyone, right? Because they're looser numbers. They've had their lists come out. They've had everything going down. They've lost all their telegrams. They've lost everything. So what they want to try and do is demonetize people and alienate people. So they all try and come together under their stupid little thing. But people ain't gonna do that. But I reckon it's gonna be PA behind it all the way. There's loads of people going down for no reason. But with the lads, it's different. That's the BBC. That's lobbyists. I think it might have all just be they're waiting for something to spark it. So they had the people were reporting or whatever, but it was only a few. But it was something that they could do and say, yeah, bang, there you go, copyright. We can get rid of them now. But it's higher with the lads because they're the only ones really in Wales that are getting this type of attention and negative attention as well, because they've got Paz, isn't you? What's Paz do?
So
is it Paz?
Yeah,
he does funny stuff, doesn't he?
He's brilliant. He's really good. He does a lot of politics. He's very strict talking. He says things as they are. He's been
very much commentary. Yeah.
So he's getting it. He's getting it as well.
He's not getting any hassle as such, but he's not living in Wales neither. So we're very much focused on Wales.
Are you the only people in Wales?
Say it again.
Are you the only people in Wales that you know of?
We're the only people reporting from Wales, and Base Welshman is reporting as well.
Wow, there you go. There you go. Guys, just so you know, people are saying that they can't find your new channel. It's there, guys. Because I found it earlier on, but if you could, if there's any way you could help people out, they're having a little bit of a problem finding.
Yeah, I've just got fluorescent. We'll put it in the chat again now.
Okay. Listen, I'm kind of tempted to sort of pull the chat to a close here, but sort of extend an invite to you guys to come back on anytime you want, especially if you want to obviously get word out, the channels back out there again and stuff like that as well. And obviously you're just interested in people to speak to, so you'd be welcome back on any time anyway, guys.
We'd love that.
We'd love that.
I'm thinking where we came on for this, perhaps we should draw a line under this today and say, job done.
Yeah. I think if you wouldn't mind, I would like to say, because obviously we can't to all the people who used to watch us, but the amount of support we've had, the emails through Discord, our mods, it's a real testament when the channel gets taken down and the supporters are as annoyed about it as us. you know, and that's a real testament. And just to clear up what Priscilla's saying there, Paz as well, she absolutely is. Obviously, he's very influential in Wales. His views are massive. He's had shadow bans. His views would go down. His subscribers would be taken off. So, you know, Paz has got a very big audience and influence. I think the only difference is that we were going like to ground zero, and we were exposing like the PCP Wales girls. We were getting it from the horse's mouth every time. So I think that's why the Welsh government saw us as a more of a direct threat and wanted to just get rid of us. But, you know, Paz has probably been, you know, the biggest supporter of Voice of Wales since all the way back in the beginning. So, you know, hats off.
What did you say the new channel's current subscribers are up to?
49.
Wait, oh, I got 98. It's not the right one.
Let's have a look. Yeah, don't forget there's a fake Voice of Wales. So there is a fake one as well, which it's basically our logo without the outline. They don't know how to do photo editing, really. Yeah, 98. Right. A lot of people are going onto their channel.
Right. I'm trying to find you so I can put it in because they're going to murder me in the chat if I don't put it in.
Yeah, I think I don't know if it's being blocked. Is it maybe being blocked?
Possibly.
But you know, because it's a link. Maybe,
possibly.
Yeah. Let me put it in the.
I'll tell you what, guys. So they don't murder me. But could you? I'll tell you what. Could you link it on the comments to the?
Just text it to me. Text it to me, and I'll text it to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll pin it or something.
No problem. Let's have a look.
All right, then I won't get my head torn off. No, obviously, if people can find you quick, then that's brilliant.
Yeah, there you go, Danny. That's just been sent to you.
It's just been sent to Dan.
Brilliant. Really do appreciate what you guys have done. Danny, you know what I already think about what you've done, but I'll say it on record anyway. You know, it was so needed, and respect as well for all the work that you've done that's gone unnoticed, as in not unnoticed, but as in you haven't had a big YouTube channel for, you haven't, you know, you've been doing this because it's the right thing to do. It's a fair play. There's cool. You know, thankfully a growing number of people actually mean it now, so that's great.
You are. It just needs to be done. You know, I take all this all the gratitude and all that kind of stuff. I don't know, it makes me feel a bit weird, to be fair, because it's something that every English person would do, every British person would do. It's just like we're using what we can as effectively as we can. You know, that's the way I look at it. But it's going to be onwards and upwards it's from tomorrow. From tomorrow, it's going to be onwards and upwards, and I'm going to sign out in a minute.
Looking forward to it.
It's been a pleasure speaking to you lot, Voice of Wales. It really has. I'm going to push your channel like you push mine. So I've got the link now, so I'm going to keep pushing it. But can I just ask one thing? You said the fake Voice of Wales. They've done another fake account, or is it still Voice of Wales?
They've got a YouTube account as well called Voice of Wales. So they did everything: email address, Twitter.
Yeah, but what's your new one now? Is it still Voice of Wales?
It is Voice of Wales, yeah. We're keeping it as Voice of Wales. We're gonna get their channel removed.
Yeah,
so
cool.
That won't be there much longer.
Good. Excellent.
All right, good.
But you have a plan.
Really appreciate you joining us tonight, guys. Really do appreciate it. And,
thank you
for everyone watching.
Thank you for having us on. Yes, thank you.
Anytime, as Tom said, I'll give you the numbers and that, so you used to, because Tom likes to have people on, growing the channels and helping out any way you can. So I'm going to link you two up as well, so you can just come on as and when you like. It is when Tom says that opening invitation, it really is. So use it as much as you can. Use it as much as you can.
No, we honestly appreciate that, because it was, when we woke up this morning and that all happened, we're supposed to be going live tonight, and it's like we need to be able to get a message out there. And obviously, because the channel was down anyway, you were, brilliant enough to have us on straight away. So, we really do appreciate that. And it's not the end of Voice of Wales, absolutely. And it's, it's through the support of people like you guys, and you're going to be allowing us on your platform that's going to keep us going until we are back up and running.
We're all in this together.
Exactly. You need us, guys. You know where to find us, and like I'm saying, if you just want to come and shoot the shit, you can know where to find us. But Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for coming on. This is the Roscoe Fury Show, joined by the Voice of Wales. And thanks again for everybody for watching. And I'll catch you next time.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you. No stop.